All right, in this exercise, in this section, we are going to look at how you solve repetitive tasks in Python. So if you have, say, a task that needs to be repeated or done multiple times, Python provides two constructs, which is the for and the while loop and the for loop that we're going to look here. And basically, they are very widely used in not only Python programming, but in a lot of programming language, as they allow to solve repetitive tasks. And while they are both similar, the while loop, as you can see in the example, it compares a certain value or variable holding a specific value from with another value or from a value inputted by the user. And it will continue to execute or loop through this same value until a specific the user terminates this specific value, or you enter a specific value to terminate this loop. So if you see in this example, we have initiated or initialized the value of num to 0, and we say while that value, while number is not equal to 1, and you can see here the code is indented as you always do with a while loop, we get a value from the user. So every time num will not be 1, we'll always get a value from the user. Now, the moment the user will enter number 5, the program will break or exit. Now, so while the number is not equal to 1 and the number is not 5, we print depending on the number that was entered. If it's greater than 0, then the number is positive. Else, the number is negative. So this is a very brief, short example of the while loop, where we take a specific value, we compare with another value or variable holding a specific value, and then we loop through it until a certain the user breaks it sometimes with a specific value. And that is how the while loop works. In the for loop, though, which is quite similar, also solving repetitive tasks, in the for loop, which is pretty similar to the while loop, it tells here we have num, which is initiated. Again, we take a value from the user, and we're using here the range function. The range function is an inbuilt function in Python that you can use to create or loop through a series of numbers. You can easily create a series of numbers with the range function. I explained this in the lecture notes. Please make sure you view the lecture notes, and if there are any questions, again, you have the forums, the class forums to ask the questions in there. So the for loop basically tells the computer that you want to keep executing a block of code until a specified condition is reached. So here we have num, and we are saying we are using the range function to find the multiples, right? The multiples of up to including 3. And so we have here the lower limit and the upper limit, and we keep adding 1 to the number based on the number that was entered up to the point that we get we reach the multiples of 3. So I'm going to just remove this function for now and run the while loop so that we can see an example. And we say run, we say enter a number, we enter 6, and it will tell me 6 is a positive number. It goes again into the loop and it asks for another number. I ask 7, it says 7 is a positive number. It will keep asking. I say -7, and it will tell me num is negative because we have entered a negative number. And the moment I enter 5, it says exiting. It means the code has exited. And so now if we wanted to do, say, the for loop, let's take away the while loop section. We take away the while loop section, and if we run this, we say run test, it will tell me to enter a number. If I say 34, and it will tell me the multiples of 3 up to including 34, and 3, 6, 9, 12, 15. And if you see, all these are all the multiples of 3, and the code has exited. So once it hits a specific condition, then the code exits. So that is somehow the difference between a for and a while loop. Now we are going to look at some examples. I've created equations. The file is in the classroom, and we're going to solve maybe 1 or 2 of those questions to see a more complex implementation of a repetitive task. So we're going to look at two examples from the exercise file. We have about 8 or 9 with a few examples that I've led for you to solve by yourself, but the majority of them have solutions. So that I don't see me typing, I've already gone in and entered the solution for one of the exercise, and that is exercise number 2. And this exercise, we're trying to find the group price for cinema customers. So there is a certain renowned cinema which allows guests, and they have different price per age. So the problem says for babies 0 to 2 years, they enter the cinema free. For children, they have per ticket they're paying $15. For adult is $25, and adult, the different age groups are there in limit, so it's from between the age of 12 and 64. And for seniors, their price is $18. And so the problem says the age limit for the guests, so from 0 to 2 is a baby, so they pay 0. And from 2 to 12, that is a child, they pay $15. From 64 upwards, they pay $18. And anything in between, they pay $25. So you are considered an adult. So the first way in solving this problem is, as usual, creating variables to represent the values that we have been given. Remember, I said the secret of solving problems is to understand first the problem that you want to solve. If it's direct, you write it down. If it's not direct, you try to write in your own words, and then see what is given, and what is needed. And so we need to get a total price, and we have all this information that's given. So we create variables to represent them. And then what we want to find is the total price. So assuming the total is 0, because we have guests coming, so we assume the total for them to pay is 0. Now, how do we get all the age groups? Now that we have variables, we assume the total. This is where the repetition comes in place. And we know we have two constructs we use, that's the while and the for loop. Now, in this example, we are going to use the while loop. I'll be doing another example where we demonstrate the for loop. But here what we want to do a repetitive task. We want to loop through something, through the different age groups. And then at the end, we want to add all the sums. So the while construct is extremely useful in this sense. We could also do the for loop for it, but for this example, I chose to go with the while loop. So the first thing is we need first to get the age of each of the guests. So we create a variable, guest age, and this variable, it will be given to us by the user. So we ask the user to always tell us the age of the next guest. And when the user puts a 0, we know he has reached the end. Okay, we could use something else here, but this is just that we understand what we are doing. So, and then this variable, of course, is an integer. And now this is where our loop starts. Say, if the guest age is 0, we say thank you, goodbye. So at any given point when the user will enter 0, we'll say, okay, thank you, goodbye, and we'll break and the program will stop. But if the user enters any other thing, we say, okay, if the guest age that the user entered is less than or equal to the age limit, baby age limit, we describe the baby age limit here to be 2. If that is that, then we add to the total plus baby price, and our baby price was 0. So that is 0 plus 0, and that will always be 0. And then we get our next if statement. If the guest age is less than child limit, we continue to update the total price, and up till the end, depending when they will type a 0, and then we'll print the total price. And so here, this is an example of the program running. So it will always ask you, please enter the age limit of the next guest. We say, okay, he is 4 years. Yeah, this was just a typo here. I was testing. Please enter the next age. We enter, and it will always calculate the age group where the guest is found. And up to the time where you enter 0, it says, okay, thanks, goodbye. It exits the program, and it gives you the total price for the group. So this is a clear example of how you can use the while statement to loop through a series of a repetitive task, and then get the result and exit the program. The program, I have put it in the class document, and you can always refer to it. If you have any questions, please post them in the forum. We're going to look now at an example using the for loop. So in this other example, in this second example, we are solving for exercise number 3, where we are being asked to create a multiplication table of numbers starting from 1 up to 10. Now you can do this up to 100 to 12, depending. So we are just going to end here till 10. And this is pretty straightforward. First, we want to declare variables to hold our minimum and maximum values, which are 1 and 10 in this scenario. And then here's a solution of it. We want to start printing the top row, which is this first row here. So to print the top row of labels, we use the end keyword. Now, normally when you use the print statement, it goes to the next line. So to make sure that when we run the print statement, it doesn't go to the next line, we add the end keyword with an empty string at the end to tell the print statement not to print in the next line, so that we can have 1, 2, 3 up till 10 in our print statement. So we first start by telling the print statement to print empty 4 spaces, like you can see here. These are all empty, the first 4 spaces. And then we tell him the next print should continue on the same line. It shouldn't go down. So here, now we use the for statement. This is a for loop. And you remember we said a for loop, it tells you to continue looping until a certain condition is met. So here we are going to define the condition that we want to meet. We say start with the minimum value, which is 1, and then add the maximum value plus 1 to it. And the maximum value is 10. So every time we print 1, we go back and add 1 to it and keep printing up to the point that we reach the maximum value. So we do 1, we add 1, then 2, after 2 we add 3, and then we print until we have reached the maximum value. And we are just saying the print statement to print 4 spaces, decimals, like we see here, these are 4 spaces. And then we have learned that again. And then again, we do that for the rest so that I should print on the same line. Then we would have printed this top row. Now we want to display the table. So for the table, we have, for the table to display, we have the top row, and then we have the row and the columns. And so that is why here we have to run two separate for loops. First, we have to loop for the row, and then we have to loop for the column. And so for the row, we represent it with I, and for the column, we represent it with a J. And so first, we have the top row that we do, like we did here, same. We print it, the top row, and then, which is this here. And so if you see here, we're no more starting with 4 spaces, okay? We're no more starting with 4 spaces. And we go now to the columns, and then we say for J in the range mean value, and we do same. Now we are saying you should multiply the top row that we had times the value of J, which will be either the minimum value depending on which iteration is running. And here we will do 1 times 1, we put 1, and we put n here to tell him print all of that in the same line. 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3. So we always take I and we multiply by J, and this is how we keep having the results. And at the end, we now run our print statement. And once all the condition is met, the for loop will exit the program. So this is how you would use the for statement and the while statement. There are more advanced examples as we'll be going forward. We are going to look at maybe even some more complex examples. We will use a combination of all that. But in general, this should give you a good understanding of how you want to use both the for and the while loop, especially when you're doing repetitive tasks. If you have any questions, again, post them in the forum. Like I mentioned, the solutions are provided with the exercise file with some additional problems to solve.